they reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
It just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? Keep the integrity of the sport.
It looks like Tank is fed up with people making fun of him for the knee he took during the Roach fight. Since the fight ended, the criticism hasn't stopped, and now Gervonta Davis is feeling the pressure too.
Gervonta Tank Davis, GTD, and I don't mean got the draws, went up against Lamont Roach. Let me tell you something. Tank got spanked. Roach should have won. And Tank even dropped to his knee. It should have been called a knockdown.
Now it's not just Tank. A new video of referee Willis being interviewed has surfaced, and things are only getting more intense. Let's bring you up to speed.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point? And in the end, lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up.
The same fans who used to cheer for him and analysts who once called him the most dangerous puncher in boxing are now using one moment to tear Tank down. The internet has been unforgiving, with memes popping up everywhere, and suddenly, everyone has something to say about what went down in the ring. As the New York State Athletic Commission continues to review Steve Willis's handling of the fight, things are getting even more heated. Just hours ago, Tank had enough. He expressed his frustration, saying he's tired of how boxing operates. Boxing is trash. Look at everyone bashing me. These are the same people who bet on me, he said. In boxing, you lose once or have a bad night, and suddenly, no one remembers anything good. All they focus on is that one bad night.
Boxing has become this thing where, you have to be undefeated for people to care about you, and that's all going.
He's not wrong. Since the fight, the focus hasn't been on his career, his power, or his dominance. It's all been about that one moment. The moment he dropped to a knee, the moment Steve Willis hesitated, the moment Lamont Roach Jr. might have been denied a legitimate knockdown. That's when the narrative around Tank shifted. The same people who once called him unstoppable are now saying he's vulnerable. Fighters who used to avoid mentioning his name are now throwing jabs, acting like this is their chance to challenge him. And the biggest slap in the face? People are acting like Shakur Stevenson can just walk through him now.
To what may happen against Shakur Stevenson, I hear more about Shakur Stevenson after this fight than I hear about Lamont Roach, which I think is sad.
That's what really set Tank off. He admitted he lost focus during the fight, but that doesn't mean he's finished. He snapped back, saying, "I'll get back up, and we'll see what everyone says. I'll put them all down." It's clear Tank isn't just reacting to the Roach fight, he's responding to all the disrespect. He's seeing the analysts, the fans, and other fighters take shots at him, and he's making it clear he's not backing down. But while Tank deals with the backlash, the debate about the fight is still going strong. A panel discussion on Prob Box TV made one thing clear: what happened in that ring was a mess. Veteran boxing writer Dan Raphael didn't hold back, saying, "That bad night by Willis cost Lamont Roach a championship and took away his chance to give America's top fighter his first loss. A lot went wrong, and it all worked against Lamont Roach."
The question is about Gervonta Davis's power. What is his power like? Is he as hard a puncher as he's made out to be? If the best name that somebody could give me, if somebody that he knocked out is a little dude who was at his, fourth weight? I can't read too much into.
Jack Rice, a respected former referee, along with trainer Stephen Bradman Edwards and former champions Chris Algieri and Pauli Malignaggi, all agreed that Roach's knockdown should have been called. They all felt that Steve Willis's handling of the situation raised too many questions. First, there was the hesitation. Then, Tank turned his back and walked to his corner in the middle of the round. To make matters worse, his trainer, Calvin Ford, was allowed to step in and wipe his face with a towel. Malignaggi was stunned and asked during the panel, "How does that happen? How does a fighter just walk to his corner, get his face wiped, and the ref does nothing? That's insane."
To me, I think I won the fight. Now, granted, 9th round should have been called a knockdown. Two judges on the official scorecards gave him the round 10-9. If that was a knockdown, I win the round 10-8. That's a 3-point swing.
Now, Gary Jonas, the founder of Pro Box TV and an advisor to Roach, is pushing for the New York State Athletic Commission to overturn the results. He's officially filed an appeal, arguing that Roach should be declared the winner. His reasoning? The knockdown was clear. Tank turned his back during the fight, and Calvin Ford illegally stepped onto the ring apron. Any one of those things should have been enough for Willis to take a point. Bradman Edwards pointed out that while mistakes happen, it always seems to work in favor of the bigger name. That's a point many fans agree with. When Tank was the undefeated superstar, everything went his way. But now that there's a hint of weakness, people are starting to question how boxing protects its biggest stars. Malik Nagy didn't hold back either, saying, "You cannot call your own timeout. That's not how this works."
Tank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost it.
While the commission is busy reviewing the fight, Tank is focused on something else: revenge. He sees what's going on and knows that if he had knocked out Roach early, none of this would even be a topic of conversation. He knows that the same analysts criticizing him now would be praising his power if things had played out differently, and then there are the fighters circling around him. Shakur Stevenson wasted no time throwing shade, implying that Tank's performance shows he can't hang with pure boxers. Ryan Garcia, of course, couldn't resist getting involved, mocking Tank on Twitter and saying, "Not so scary anymore, huh?"
So when your foot's out, 1 foot out, you're gonna get in the ring and you're gonna have that moment where you gotta step it up and it just won't come. I think that's what happened.
What do you think about him taking the knee at that point?
I think that
should it have been ruled or not?
100% should have been ruled.
Even Devin Haney, who's had his own issues with Tank, made sure to remind everyone that real champions don't take knees. Tank isn't just hearing this, he's taking notes. For him, this has become personal. It's no longer about whether that knee should have been counted as a knockdown. Now, it's about proving that one bad night doesn't erase everything he's accomplished. Tank has always been known as the most dangerous puncher in the division, and he plans to show the world exactly why. "I'll put all of them down," he repeated.
I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. The no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes. And
there's already talk of a rematch with Roach, but right now, that doesn't seem like enough for Tank. He's looking beyond Roach. He wants to silence every single person who's spoken about him. He wants to erase this moment from history with a knockout so brutal that no one will ever bring up the Roach fight again. But the reality is, this controversy isn't going away. Even if the New York Commission doesn't overturn the fight, this will leave a mark on Tank's legacy, at least for now. Fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and even Muhammad Ali all had moments where they were doubted. But what set them apart was how they responded. Tank's response. He's making it clear that this isn't the downfall people think it is. If anything, this is just the beginning of his next chapter. And if history has taught us anything, it's that a pissed-off Tank is the most dangerous version of him.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure. Well, hopefully we could get it before... Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
Despite Tank's frustration, the criticism keeps pouring in from some of the biggest voices in boxing. Every day, the debate over his controversial moment grows louder, with more fighters, analysts, and even officials weighing in. The controversy isn't fading, it's only getting worse. And now, the latest twist is adding even more fuel to the fire. A video has surfaced of referee Steve Willis being confronted about his handling of the situation. The clip quickly went viral, showing a fan catching Willis off guard and demanding answers about why he didn't score a knockdown when Tank dropped to one knee. The fan didn't hold back, calling Tank's move some BS, while Willis, clearly uncomfortable, refused to comment. "I can't speak on that," Willis said. When the fan pressed again, he repeated, "Can't speak on that." As the fan pushed further, he added, "He did some BS though." Again, Willis shut it down, saying, "I can't speak on it. I can't."
What you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee? I can't. Can't think on that? Yeah. You did the book though? I can't be. No personal opinion, nothing? Yeah.
Response only made things worse. Many fans see it as an admission that Willis knows he made a mistake but refuses to own up to it publicly. The fact that the referee who made the call is dodging the conversation is giving Roach's team even more reason to push for an overturned result. The fight itself ended in a majority draw, with one judge scoring it 115 to 113 for Davis and the other two giving it 114 to 114. But now, with so much pressure building, there's a real possibility the outcome could be changed. The WBA's president, Gilberto Mendoza Jr., has already made his stance clear. Let me repeat, taking a knee without a punch shall be ruled a knockdown. It affected the result of the fight.
that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Yeah, I had a fucking off night with fucking crew. Everyone has a fucking off night. It's fucking boxing. You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
It wasn't just Mendoza Jr. who felt Roach deserved the win. Fighters like Terence Crawford and Ryan Garcia quickly spoke out, saying the wrong man had his hand raised. But the biggest bombshell came when Canelo Alvarez entered the conversation, and his words were even more critical. Speaking on *Abro in the morning*, the undisputed super middleweight champion didn't just say Tank should have lost the round, he went as far as to say he should have been disqualified. "If you take a knee, you need to lose like 10-8 that round at least," Canelo said. And plus, the corner goes up and puts a towel in his face, that's disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point? And in the end, lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus, the corner go up and put a towel in the face, that's a disqualification, for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my...
For a fighter of Canelo's caliber to come out and say that Tank should have been disqualified is huge. It's no longer just about scoring, it's now about whether Tank should have even been allowed to continue the fight. If the referee had followed the rules strictly, Roach might have walked away with a stoppage win. Tank's excuse for taking a knee has only added to the controversy. His own hairstylist, who styled his hair before the fight, posted on Instagram saying that the products used wouldn't have caused such an issue. The post was quickly deleted, but screenshots are now circulating online, and the backlash doesn't stop there. The New York State Athletic Commission has now confirmed that they tried to use instant replay to review the 9th round but couldn't due to a technical issue. According to their statement, during the round in question, following the commission's request for the replay video, a technical issue prevented them from receiving it within the allotted time for review. Therefore, the referee's in-ring decision stood, and the fight continued. That explanation isn't sitting well with many people. If an instant replay system exists but wasn't working when it mattered most, what's the point? This isn't the first time the NYSAC has been questioned over their handling of a controversial fight, and this latest issue is only adding to the distrust fans already have toward the system.
I mean, look, he wasn't hurt, there's no doubt about that, but if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, oh, that, you know, he should be disqualified, he went back to the corner, I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning. But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there was a lot of...
Roach's team isn't backing down. They've now officially sent a letter to the NYSAC demanding that the fight result be overturned. Their argument is straightforward. Tank voluntarily took a knee, and the referee failed to call it a knockdown. That alone would have changed the outcome of the fight. But beyond that, Calvin Ford stepping into the ring mid-round should have led to either a point deduction or a disqualification. Roach and his team believe that, when you take all these factors into account, there's no way Tank should have kept his belt. Even Tank's own fans are having a hard time defending him. Some argue the fight was close enough that Roach winning the 9th round 10-8 wouldn't have guaranteed him a victory. Others claim that even if it was ruled a knockdown, Tank would have found a way to win in the later rounds. However, those arguments are getting drowned out by the overwhelming criticism that just won't stop.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not.
To make matters worse for Tank, former referee Jack Rice, one of the most respected officials in boxing, has publicly stated that the wrong call was made. Speaking on ProBox TV, Rice was blunt. It should have been a knockdown, no question about it. The fighter voluntarily went down, and under the rules, that's a knockdown. Rice also pointed out that as soon as Tank took a knee, the fight should have paused. Instead, chaos broke out, with Tank walking to his corner and getting wiped down, while the referee allowed the fight to continue as if nothing happened. This was a mess, Rice said. It wasn't handled correctly at all.
It's very unfortunate, but if there was some outside factor that did get into his eye, I don't know. You're walking on a gray line, and that's when things aren't necessarily black or white. So it's a tough call, and you don't.
For the first time in his career, Tank isn't in full control of his own narrative. The fans, analysts, and even fellow fighters are now shaping the conversation. And if the commission decides to overturn the result, it could become one of the biggest scandals in modern boxing history. Devin Haney has now joined the growing list of fighters who believe Lamont Roach Jr. deserved to have his hand raised. The former undisputed lightweight champion made it clear that, in his view, Roach not only fought strongly but did enough to win the fight outright. Haney's opinion carries weight. He's watched Roach develop since their amateur days, and his assessment only adds fuel to the controversy surrounding the outcome. But it was the 9th round incident that left Haney, like many in the boxing world, in disbelief. He echoed what fans, analysts, and fighters alike are saying. Davis voluntarily took a knee and it should have been ruled a knockdown. That was unheard of, Haney said, making it clear that he'd never seen a ruling like that in all his years in boxing. That moment in the 9th round has now become the center of the dispute. Davis, clearly struggling, dropped to one knee after Roach's jab, which landed near his eye. Referee Steve Willis, standing just feet away, initially appeared to start a count before hesitating and waving for the action to continue.